hot dogs.
Hello, world!
Hello, winning world.
Winning world. Been a long time since I've been able to say that about January.
Yeah, late January.
All right. We've actually got some good stuff to talk about, some positive stuff, a little bit of negative stuff,
A little bit of negative.
Mostly positive as it goes with your winning ways, mostly positive. How we doing tonight, Gregory?
Woohoo!
Quincy James? We don't care about him. I'm kidding. How are you doing?
Doing good. I'm feeling the winning ways.
I got to say that was a great time yesterday at the theater watching.
Yeah, so
it looked like it.
Topic. I forgot the other topic I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so that the theater we went to was called the RJ Cinema Distillery Tap House. It's where the old Danbury Dollar Saver used to be, Eastgate, right next to Jungle Gyms. Like it shares the same parking lot. Can't freaking miss it. That was awesome.
Yes, it was.
That was really cool, especially for an away game where you can't really get a bunch of people packed in like stadium and everybody.
Yeah.
It was now. Grant, the first quarter was awesome. Second quarter we kind of lulled out. The third quarter everybody's kind of like, oh god, here we go again.
Exactly.
And then the fourth quarter it kicked back up again.
Yeah.
But
Pirine.
P-Ryan!
Greg Luther's favorite player on the planet. No, that was awesome. Thank you, Matty Meyer and the Jackpot Joey crew and Jeff and everybody that was able to help put that together. I talked to Jeff about it, said we should do that again. He thinks it's going to happen again. I don't know when.
Nice.
I heard rumblings that theater actually plans to do that on a regular basis. So we'll see. That would be really, really fun to do for away games.
Absolutely.
I can't say I would do it every single week, but I would definitely go 2 or 3 times a year for sure. Like
I bet they made a lot of money.
Yeah, they made a lot of beer concessions. Trust me.
Yeah. Everybody asked me, did you have to pay? How much did you have to pay? I'm like, you didn't have to pay anything. You
Not a
just
dime. They gave you a free beer for walking in the front door.
Let's complain about
How
that.
many places do that?
Never.
If you want to go to a Bengal game and park and get one beer, you're starting to look at least $100.
Yes.
At least.
Absolutely.
You want to go to a movie theater in Eastgate, get a free beer and watch a Bengal game? Goose egg. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that's bad.
Leftover from the one chip challenge.
No, this is some kind of sugar-free carbonated raspberry blackberry drink that I don't know if I'll ever drink again.
No, Santori, I have to tell you something. My one coworker at work, he wants to try the one chip challenge. I need to get you to talk to him out of this. He acts like no big deal.
Show him this clip. There is nothing better you'll ever do in your life. Not having children, not making $1 million.
Yeah.
One chip challenge. It is.
Hooday, Hoss.
Hooday, Hoss. We actually
All right, Hoss.
Hoss.
Hoss was in the house yesterday.
Hoss, buddy, what's awesome seeing you yesterday, bro.
Do you understand how big an event it is when Hoss shows up?
You're the man, Hoss.
That is awesome. Oh my God. It's not sitting well. Jesus. No, the one chip challenge, in all seriousness, I've broken bones before, and I would rather break the bones again.
Absolutely.
100% honesty. Dad remembers when I was in high school, I tore a ligament in my thumb, broke both of my fingers, and tore something in the backside of my wrist, all in the span of about 8 seconds. And I would rather do that than eat that chip again. I mean, that was.
You're about as brittle as Nick Senzel.
Yeah, I don't last long.
Oh,
that chip was.
There's a joke there.
Santori,
Yeah, last long.
He said, because I commented, we see another one chip challenge here. He's like, no way am I ever doing that. I don't care. Good luck or not. I'm not doing it again, he said.
Well, and the thing is, everybody kind of asks me, like, because I do a lot of spicy foods. I'm like the hot sauce guy on here,
right.
I guess. But I've had people ask me, have you done like the atomic wing stuff? And how bad is that compared? Like, Greg,
right.
I think you've asked me. I've had probably 10 people ask me that.
Yeah.
I haven't done the triple atomic challenge, but I've done the atomic challenge. The atomic challenge does not come anywhere close.
Right.
One single tortilla chip is about 1 billion times hotter than whatever those chicken wings are. It like if you've ever had the blazing wings at B-Dubs, because a lot of people can handle those.
Right.
the Blazing Wings at B-Dubs are like 1/20th of what that chip is. It is brutal. I truly mean it. If you're thinking about doing it, make sure you have some kind of fat or lactic acid handy, like vanilla ice cream, whole milk, yogurt. I would recommend eating yogurt beforehand to kind of coat your esophagus and your stomach. That will help. I would recommend having someone on speed dial in case you have an allergic reaction, have to go to the hospital, because that is a relatively frequent thing that happens eating that chip.
No, you would recommend just not doing it.
I would recommend just not doing it. 100%.
I saw news reports saying kids are getting suspended at school for doing it.
Don't people how to cope, or don't tell people how to cope. Just tell them not to do it. It's easier.
But if for some reason, because it is just something you buy at Kroger, so unless if you're really going to go that route, take precaution. And the night I did it, we'd actually gone out to eat as a family, and I told Dad, kind of jokingly but kind of serious, in the parking lot leaving the restaurant, if I call you at 11 o'clock, answer, because just in case. And he was like, why the hell do you do this shit to yourself? He started yelling at me in the parking lot, and I was like, I'm kind of kidding, I'm kind of serious, I've done something like this before, but just in case something goes bad, because I was home alone.
Yeah.
I would not recommend I would not recommend being home alone for that.
Yeah. All right, son, on with the show. We got a Bengal win to talk about here.
No, you want to make a steak. Let's be honest.
I do want to make a steak also, but let's get a hooday.
All right. First and foremost, Joe Burrow was kept upright.
Yes, he was.
PFF says fuck the Bengals, but I don't care. Burrow had time to throw, my boys.
I know what I saw.
Answer me this. Did we hear Carl Lawson at all during that game?
No, I saw Quentin Williams try and punch his coach, and that was about it.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the deal. I understand where PFF is coming from, because if you can lose a rep and not give up pressure, and when you talk about losing a rep, a guy gets a little off balance, doesn't re-anchor right, or he might not get right up in the shoulder pads, or his arms get wide. If you are looking at it as an offensive line coach, you're grading the guy on that specific play, technique's bad, or he might even get beat for half a second, they're going to score you really bad. Even if you re-anchor and don't give up a pressure, they're going to still grade you bad.
Right.
So if you're going to look at the offensive line stuff on Pro Football Focus, which there's still, I shit on Pro Football Focus for the grades, their data is still wicked good, right? Look at pressures, look at quarterback hits. There were a lot of zeros in that category.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you look for. You can still not play sound technical football and still be good. Is there still a lot of room to grow? Absolutely. That was not a perfect game by any stretch, but here's the deal. He had time to throw. They hung up 27 points. They still really weren't clicking. And, the line they did better. It was still better. I don't really care if the grades are worse. They did better. Sometimes you have to
27 points and not clicking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you just got to do the eyeball test. And Joe Burrow was on his feet and not his back.
Hey, I know something that's not on your list to talk about. I'm going to say it.
Uh-oh.
McPherson's starting to scare me a little bit.
No. Bad snap. It was a bad snap like my boss says it was.
I haven't watched it yet, so I'm not going to comment.
Okay. I just know that was going to put the game away. And
I was in the truck driving to Mason's soccer game, and didn't get to see that part. So I don't know if it was good or bad or what happened.
Greg, or not Greg, Cincy, it was it was like a 30-yard field goal.
It was the same.
Yeah, I heard it was a chip shot
against the Steelers.
Okay, so it was a chip shot. He kicked it. So where's that stadium? East Rutherford. East
Rutherford. Yes.
Yeah.
Joyzy.
It landed in San Diego. Like way bad. I don't know if it got to the net. Anything. It's rare that I say I could have done that.
Yeah.
It looked like one of those kicks you get at a college game when they're trying to give away $100 gift certificates or something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Mallory's opening day pitch was more accurate.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way.
Enough about Money Mac.
So, I thought the O-line got better.
We'll
see as we keep going. It's a step in the right direction.
Did we get the PFF scores for the offensive line yet? Or
I've seen them. They're not good.
They're the worst of the year.
Hi.
So Maddie just got home from dance.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi.
Maddie.
I heard her walk in, and I had to show her off.
You say who day, Maddie?
Say who day?
Hey!
Talking
Get the
about
arm going
That's
up
right,
everywhere.
sweetie. Okay, you get your drink, sweetie.
Greg,
All right.
I think I remember the grades off the top of my head. They weren't pleasant. And I really only cared to look at the pass blocking grades.
right.
Kappa was like a 72 or something. Fine. Jonah Williams was 666. If you're religious or not, I'm sorry. But that's what it was, which is still a good grade. 60 is considered average.
I said 6.66. I'm like, dang.
No, 66.6. It's
Okay.
still significantly above average. Karras was like a 50.
What?
Yeah, Volson was like a 53, and Collins was like a 40.
Dang.
On true pass sets, which was only 8, Volson was like an 87 again, though. So, who fucking knows?
We
They
just
did
need to
well.
stop talking about those scores.
But like I said, if you look at pressures, hits, and sacks, there were a lot of zeros in those categories.
Right.
Eye test, like you said.
And
the
Joe Shiesty hung
score-
in there a little bit longer and didn't cause as many issues for himself.
The score
Right.
I like is 27-12. That's the score I like.
And something else, Joe Burrow, he looked more like Joe Burrow maneuvering throughout the pocket. He was actually doing those spin moves, and the line held enough to where he didn't have a guy right in his face. He was able to get going and find people downfield. It looked like vintage Burrow from late last year.
Yes, it did.
It did, and they weren't super clicking.
A lot of promising things.
One
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to talk about, and a lot of people really disagree with me on this, and I think I was the one person in the theater trying to tell everybody to shut up about it.
I know this.
The T. Higgins catch in the back of the end zone.
Right call, bad rule.
Yes. I got in an argument with a couple big Bengal fans, and I still love them. We're still okay. We had our little powwow. We're fine. Here's the deal. It has been a rule for about 15 to 20 years, as far as I know. I've seen the Bengals get screwed on it before. I've seen other people get screwed on it. It is the rule. If you're going backward, you have to complete the catch with your heels. It's in the rule book. It's been in the rule book. It will still continue to be in the rule book unless they change it. NFL changes rules all the time. Might change. I don't think they really give a shit about changing something that happens once in a blue moon.
No.
There are worse rules in the NFL. But here, both statements can be true. It can be the correct rule, and it can be an awful rule.
Yep.
It is what it is. I mean, I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings. I do think the rule should be rewritten. I think that if, a toe tap counts going forward, it should count going backward. But we have several rules in the NFL rule book about if a player is moving forward or backward. We do. Right. For instance, if you're trying to stop the clock and you run out of bounds going backward from the line of scrimmage, so you get knocked backward and go out of bounds, the clock still runs. Another weird rule that I don't necessarily like. If a kickoff rolls to the 1 yard line near the sideline and the returner puts a foot out of bounds and touches the ball, it's considered illegal procedure on the kicker, and it's a 50-yard penalty. There's some weird shit in the NFL rulebook I don't agree with, but it's still the rule. I mean, as soon as I saw the replay and his heels didn't come down, I looked at Bengal Dad and I was like, that's not a catch. Everybody in here is going to be really mad in about 2 minutes, but it's not a catch.
Hey, how do I show a picture on here again? Do I hit share screen?
Yes. We're going to walk through some technical difficulties.
Yeah. Keep talking. Just keep talking.
I like this.
I just want to ask a quick question. Do you agree on the Calvin Johnson rule?
That you have to survive the ground for a catch?
Yeah.
Here's the issue I have with it. And this isn't necessarily me disagreeing with the rule. This is me disagreeing with an inconsistency with the NFL.
Yeah.
If the ground can't cause a fumble on a running play, it shouldn't be able to cause an incompletion. Or if you have to survive the ground to complete a catch, you should have to survive the ground to not fumble the ball. If I see a running back trip and fall forward and his elbow hits first and the ball squirts out, I know his elbow hit, but in my mind, that should be a fumble. He didn't maintain control through the entire play. So it's got to go both ways for me. I don't care if it's a passing play or a running play. I disagree with the inconsistency.
His heels look like the
Whoa! That was Inception.
Who's that?
Who's that?
Holy cow!
That's Hefty Duck.
Hefty Duck.
Hefty Duck.
Howdy. I'm eating some food right now. How you guys
Did
doing?
you? I know you're a Brownies fan, but did you watch any of the Bengal game this week?
I caught a couple highlights.
Okay, well, never mind. So,
Fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
He stayed there. He knew he was coming back.
it's all right. I mean, people have figured it out at this point. I got that routine from Dale.
no, but like
Yeah.
as someone who might not be as familiar with many of the players' names and everything, I mean, what is like a main takeaway that one of you could like tell me about this week? Because I know that they're having issues, previous weeks. I guess.
Joe Burrow played like Jackpot Joey.
I don't
Played much better.
outside Cincinnati. I don't think people know the term Jackpot Joey. Burrow played like his old self. He didn't look skittish.
Yeah.
So we've
That's
had
good.
serious offensive line issues. We still kind of do, but they were significantly better this week. And then they hung up 27 points on a relatively competitive team. They've been in most games, but they still looked eons better than what they had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one I saw, he looked shaky. I don't know how to say that otherwise, like just kind of shaky.
That's kind
that
of
was-
how it's been.
Because like I didn't really notice that like last year during the playoffs at all. I didn't really see that from him. And so it's just a bit surprising.
Right. So he's been uncharacteristically Jesus, shaky. The other guy that's been uncharacteristically shaky, Mixon. My boy. Here's the deal. The blocking's the same, and P. Ryan is a tenth of the running back that you are. Hit the damn hole when it presents itself. It is not that hard.
Quit dancing.
That works. That works in football and in life. Go for the hole.
One guy said, Mixon's all patient, but you look at P. Ryan, he just runs. He doesn't think about being patient. He just runs right through.
You can be patient when you have an excellent line and guys are overrunning and your line has time to set up. When you're doing essentially with the Bengals, they do a lot of gap and they do some zone and they do a lot of duo, right? And Mike Sands kind of went over what duo was when he was on the show last time. I don't want to get into too much of it, but it's a lot of straightforward, isolated double teams, right? Where you just double team the guys in the middle, work up to the linebackers. It's pretty simple. The Bengals do that a lot. I don't know how many times, and I haven't got to watch the all 22 yet, but I got to watch highlights, and I've watched the game about 3 or 4 times already. That Mixon just missed the gap. I've seen it 3 weeks now. I don't know if he's not trusting the line, if he's not reading it correctly. I think Joe Goodberry had a great point today. I read in a thread where he said that, it looks like he's reading things correctly, but he's reacting too quick.
Right.
And because you're going too quick off of what you're seeing, you can be, like Joe Burrow, you're a little bit sped up. So you can be patient and too sped up through the patience. It sounds weird. It's an oxymoron. But whatever he's doing, it's not working because the holes are there. And I rip on Pro Football Focus grades. It's kind of one of those things where I'm going to get called a hypocrite and say, oh, you only talk about it when it fits your narrative. I'll fall into that category sometimes. The run blocking grade is average in the NFL. I think it's 16th. It's smack dab in the middle. If you've got a Pro Bowl back in an average line, you should be averaging more than 2.8 yards a carry. They have an average blocking run line right now. They're winning at the point of attack on run block. And you have a Pro Bowl back and it's not working. They shifted the backs in and out, and then 9 yards, 8 yards, 6 yards, extra effort, first down, and it ended the game. Mixon's capable of that. Yes. But the running style was vastly different. So it's not a lack of talent. He's not hurt. He's not wearing down. I think he's in his own head right now. And
he came out of the game. He came out of the game. Yeah.
But
I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, hey, he did come out of the game, never went back in after he got hurt.
Well, no, P. Ryan started popping off 10 apiece. He didn't have to.
Well, no, Santori, goes back to when you and I were discussing one time about Nick Chubb. You said there's really nothing flashy about him. He's not a big talker. He just runs straight up the middle. He's just a typical old-fashioned guy that'll run straight up the middle. Chubb doesn't get patient. He just runs, man. Like
Well, he keeps his shoulders square. Mixon's a little bit more laissez-faire with his body style. He gets a little bit over his toes at times. He doesn't pick his feet up a whole lot when he's running. I hate to say it looks like he's sleepwalking out there at times, but he is. I mean, if you remember when he first really hit the league big, it was him and Le'Veon Bell were the two guys that had that same style.
yes, they did.
He's about the only guy that still does that anymore.
Now, when Bell did do it, he was almost the best in the league. But like you said,
And look at that Steelers offensive line,
Yeah.
though.
He had the line to do it.
yeah,
He had Pro Bowlers all over that line. The Bengals don't right now.
No.
By any stretch. But I think if they get him going, because I said they were La'el Collins away from, if he was average, they'd put up big passing numbers, and they did.
Yeah.
If you get him going, the offense is going to start putting up 30 to 40 a game, and it's not going to be close. But if all you've got to really do is start subbing in P. Ryan,
yeah.
I mean, you saw what happened. And the Jets are known for having a good interior.
Yep.
They have good linebackers. I mean, it's not like he did that against scrubs either.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So what's holding them through all of this? Like I said, as someone who's not like the most in tune with all of football, like it's their defense that's really pulling them through. They won, right?
So the defense has played pretty damn well, but they also haven't played any scary offenses yet. Week 1 they had Mitch Trubisky and the Steelers, essentially a fringe starter to good backup. And then week 2 they had Cooper Rush with the Cowboys. And then this week they had Joe Flacco. I mean, they're not really playing anyone elite. And then next week you get Tua, and we'll talk about that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. God knows what his brain might be scrambling. His back might be hurt right now.
But
Yeah, I was right about that. They did come out and say that
Yeah, they're wrong.
yesterday.
They're covered.
Oh, I know. Yeah, dude, I finally saw that replay. Oh my, back my ass. No, that was his head for sure.
Yeah.
Like, there is no way around it. No way around it.
No, but Lance,
I saw
basically what's happened is the defense has done enough to keep teams from really blowing us up. I think the most anybody scored is 23, which, I mean, you keep teams around 20, you've got a really good chance.
Yeah.
And that was overtime.
That was overtime. So, and then what's happened is when Burrow's needed to the first 2 weeks, he's been able to reach deep down and pull a rabbit out of his hat and get things tied.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been tied or had the lead in every single game late.
Yep.
But Burrow's been running for his life while doing it. They finally had a game where he only got sacked twice, and they got decent run blocking at the end, and were able to just kind of do what they needed to do. So we're hoping moving forward that trend continues.
Yeah.
Right on. I mean, I saw some clip about BJ Hill and what is it, Trey Hendrickson? Yeah, I saw that they were like putting in some hits pretty good the other day.
Yeah, so this is actually a really good transition because the next topic was defense. Thank you, Lance.
I got to get a charger. I'll be right back.
Okay, goodbye. Trey Hendrickson graded at a 94. Pro Football Focus. 3 sacks, 2.5 sacks, however you want to count it.
Yeah.
2 forced fumbles. I think I saw somewhere some people have him credited for 3 forced fumbles. If that's what one guy is doing during the game, you're probably going to win. I mean, those were the Micah Parsons numbers from a week ago that were scaring the shit out of us. We finally got our Micah Parsons game.
Did he get any sacks when Reeder got hurt, though?
Yeah, he got that last one at the end.
Oh, he did. That's right.
Now, that's the other thing. I have no idea how long Reeder's out for. And that's
that. Can you see him playing this week?
Oh, no.
I can't see it, man.
I don't even know what it is yet. We just know it's a knee injury, and they said they're encouraged. Normally, that's at least 4 weeks.
Right.
In my mind, when you say it's encouraging, that means it's not a torn ACL.
Right.
It could be a meniscus. I mean, it could be a severe tear. It could be a strain. It could be a slight fracture. It could be a bone bruise. I have no idea.
Because you saw when he went down, the Jets were running the ball a lot. But that's the most unappreciated player in the NFL is DJ Reader. I don't care what I may say that because I'm a Bengals fan. Reader is the most unappreciated player in the NFL.
You know, he actually had one of the better pass rushing win rates in the entire NFL for how much he gets double teamed. They keep track of, and it's one of those XY graphs that you see all the time for like EPA and stuff.
Right.
They had pass rush win rate versus rate of double team, and it was him and Aaron Donald were like 1 and 2. Think about that. And he's doing it from the middle. Donald's doing it off guards. He's going for like at 1 shade and 2s. That's not fair. So I mean, he's damn good, and you build defenses and teams in every sport from the middle out. I don't care if it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, whatever. If the middle's soft, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And he might have a soft middle himself, but my God, does he help.
Yep.
So I'm a little worried about him, but DB's played good. Bates got his little Ed Reed style pick at the end where it was deflected right in his lap. Von Bell started to close a couple times toward the middle. The one thing I'd like to see is at some point Dax Hill. I don't know if he's just not getting it yet, if they don't feel comfortable with it. You know, I trust Lou Anarumo at this point. If he says he's not ready, he's not ready. But I'd really like to see him soon. And I think when you start playing teams like the Dolphins, who do have multiple downfield threats, you're going to have to start getting creative in the secondary.
Play all 3 safeties. I said play all 3 safeties Thursday. You're going up against 2 speedsters and a good tight end, Gesicki. You need to play like all your defensive backs. I mean, play Dax Hill.
Well, this team profiles in terms of personnel, with the exception of two. I'm talking about weapons. Very similar to how the Chiefs have profiled the last few years.
Yeah.
Especially because copy and paste Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Right. Waddle is one of the top 10 receivers in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says.
Yes.
He's damn good.
Absolutely.
I was a little skeptical because smaller receivers bother me in the draft process, but my God, he doesn't play like it. Gesicki's a great tight end. You know, he doesn't get a whole lot of love because the Kelseys and Wallers of the world are just so dominant, but he's really, really good.
Yeah,
you know, I put him up there with Njoku, if not higher. You know, he's probably going to be the best tight end you've played this year almost.
Yep. Now Andrews probably, with the exception.
Well, I'm talking up to this point.
Oh, okay.
They profile similar, and if you remember how they played those teams, they had like 6 DBs on the field because they had Trey Flowers for the tight end. They had Davis really, really deep against the Chiefs trying to take away Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
They had, Bell and Bates doing what they needed to do in 2 and 3 in man situations. And then they still had Hilton and all of the other corners out there. I'm getting the feedback from somewhere. I don't know who it's from, but
it's from Cincy James, I think. I just muted him to get rid of it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, can you hear it?
I can.
Yeah, I hear something in the background.
I don't have anything in the background.
Is it coming out your speaker?
I just muted him.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Whoa.
Say again, James?
So it's me, for sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come back.
Playing a recorder in the background? What the hell?
No, they're in the other room. There's nothing going on in here. I don't know what's going on. I'll be back.
All
Something
right.
like that happened to me. I could explain, but
yeah. So wait, Tori, are you saying they'll probably play them like, for example, how we played Lamar, how we played Pat Mahomes, mainly just have everybody like Akeem Davis-Gaither? He was one of my favorite players in that draft class. I mean, because he can play defensive. To be a linebacker, you have to play defensive back. If you guys remember Ray Maluga, great tackler, but he got torn.
He couldn't cover worth a damn.
Yeah.
The Texans, that playoff game, their third string quarterback was just picking him apart.
We don't talk about TJ Yates anymore, okay? That's another Mike White situation. We are moving on. But no, you're right. You're 100% right. He was one of my favorite guys because of how fluid he was, and I think it just took him a little bit of time to figure out what's going on. And he got his first real big taste as basically the number 2 linebacker with Pratt out, and you didn't miss a fucking beat, man.
He
He had 13 tackles, and he had almost a diving interception. He's fine.
So how do we think we're going to play the Dolphins? Are we doing a 3-man line? Drop an 8?
I don't know if they're going to do that per se. It wouldn't surprise me if they drop back and say, let's see if Tua can really beat us. Let's see if Tua can pick us apart.
They can't run the ball.
No, their leading rusher has 79 yards on the season.
Seriously?
Yeah, they have Chase Edmonds has 79 yards and Raheem Mostert has 78.
Wow.
They don't run the ball. They don't give a shit. That is just Tua dropping back and slinging it.
What is going on behind you?
That damn chip has possessed my apartment. Okay.
Ooh, it's about October. Yeah, right. Get some glow sticks.
I've tried a couple times fixing it. I don't know what to do.
Like
Haas wants to know.
Get a new house. New house.
CTB comes back. Who fucking knows, man? I haven't heard anything on that.
At least after this game, or at earliest.
Yeah, earliest after this game. To be determined after that. I don't know. It could be a TJ Hushmanzada situation where he's day to day for like 17 weeks.
The whole year. Yeah.
I don't know.
I hate it when that happens.
It's the good thing is I'm not worried about it. I would hate to be in a situation where you're going, oh my God, we need this guy to come back and I hope he's good. Now it's just kind of like, all right, we'll see what happens. I'm sorry about the light. I can't fix it. It's
wonderful. So you mentioned Tua a bit. Like, what's up with like the whole injury thing? Because like, I don't really keep up with the Dolphins much, but like I have been seeing stuff around like he's not in concussion protocol, but he wasn't playing because of his back and his ankles.
Did you see the highlight for what happened?
The one Dolphins highlight I saw was that dude getting kicked in the butt by football.
That was the best thing I think I've seen in a long time. No, what happened with Tua is he dropped back to pass, threw a ball, guy gave him a little shove, hit the ground, kind of did like one of those toddler barrel rolls, but his head hit the ground real hard. He stood there for a second, got up, started to jog toward the huddle.
He stumbled. And I did see that.
About ate shit, and then he got up. His line kind of helped him. Looked like he tried to stumble again, and then they all pulled him in. And the Dolphins go, "Oh, it was a back spasm." The hell, it was a back spasm.
That was a late knockout, you know.
And then they had their press conference today. They're like, "Yeah, his back's feeling better." I'm like, "Y'all still running with this, huh? Like this is what we're doing."
They're just trying to avoid it. I'm reading articles about how like they're trying to comply with an investigation into his concussion and stuff like that.
The Dolphins, what have they not been investigated for? I mean, they're getting investigated for.
So you think he's gonna be there this week? I mean, it's hard to tell. We're not doctors. I know that, but
here's the deal.
Well, I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
If they decide that they are going to put him through concussion protocol, it's 50-50, man. When I coached, concussion protocol was
strict.
It's a pain in the ass. And there were days you really have no idea as a coach because it's not up to you, and quite frankly, it's not up to the medical staff. The way we used to do it is, Jesus Christ, hold on, this is killing me.
You just do that because you want everybody to look at your square.
Yeah,
taking the attention off. It's pretty nice.
Attention whore. No, so the way we used to do it when someone would get a concussion, right, is the moment you put them through protocol. Now, granted, this is high school. They'd stay home for the first day, dark room, no video games, no TV, no music. Just it's gonna suck. Isolate and just don't do anything that would really stimulate your brain with electronics. Once they didn't feel like they wanted to vomit anymore, they would come back to school. If they could survive the day under the fluorescent nice lights that every classroom in America has,
right,
which was not easy, we would start the concussion protocol process, which is they get a questionnaire, okay? And it is I think it's like a 0 through 5. and there's like 20 questions on there, and the max score you can get is a 100. How does your stomach feel on a scale of 0 to 5? 0 being no symptoms, 5 being I want to die right now kind of thing. And how's your stomach feel? How are your eyes? How are your ears? Does it hurt when you walk? Does it hurt to stand up? Do you get dizzy? Do you feel like you need to drink a lot of water? Are you going to the bathroom a lot? Just literally like a full on, it's like getting a physical, right?
Yeah.
And they fill that out. And if it's anything above like a 7, you start the whole process over. And then once you get to 0, they check you again the next day. And then if you're still at 0, you can go outside and start jogging. And then the next day you can lift weights. And then on that third day, if you're good to go, you can put a helmet on, go and run around outside. And if that goes well, then you can start resuming and getting hit again. But then after that first day of hitting, they do one final check. And if you're good to go after that, you're good to go. But if you actually take it the way it's supposed to be done, it can take a week. Sometimes, they go in, you feel fine after the game, and they can start the checklist right away. I don't know if that's the way the NFL does it. That's the way we did it through the state of Ohio for high school. And there were times where, a kid was, he's like, I feel fine. I want to take this checklist now. And the kids kind of knew the program. And a kid would answer a 3 after the end of the game. The next day he'd answer a 20. The next day he'd answer a 0, and we're good to go. And he's on the field within 6 days. Sometimes they take it after the game. They're a 0. The next day they come back. They're a 0 again. We're good to go in 3 days. The quickest I've ever seen a turnaround, and it was with no concussion, was 72 hours. So I don't know how they're going to address it. If they have to put him in a concussion protocol tonight, he's not going to play.
Yeah.
It's just too damn fast.
Right.
I mean, look what happened with T. Higgins.
Yeah.
He went through concussion protocol. I mean, he was able to come back in 6 days, but he was limited, which is that jogging around and getting water for 3 of the 5 days. So I don't know exactly how they do it. I know how we did it. And if they have to start that process over right now and he's not cleared at this moment, there's no way in hell he's playing Thursday. But I would consider no news good news for the Dolphins. And at the moment, I would anticipate him playing.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it.
I'd be kind of surprised, but also then again, with how much they want to push this, and as Haas said, it's Burrow versus Tua.
Right.
NFL might want to make that happen.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole of situation you can go down with how the NFL schedules things. Yeah. I mean, Deshaun Watson has a random 11-game suspension or whatever it is and comes back against Houston.
Right.
Come on.
I heard it's not like a team doctor. I heard the NFL has a doctor on the field that checks these guys because it's not the actual team doctors that do it. It's an NFL doctor that does it because they're not because they don't want to. Because obviously they don't want to trust team doctors saying, "Oh yeah, sure, you're fine. We need to win this game. You go back and play." I heard it's an NFL doctor, not affiliated with the team, that tests these players, like even during the games on the field. Is that true?
So, yes, but they're typically local guys.
Okay. Well, that's
it's
yeah.
Hey, this is this isn't a team doctor. It's not hired by the Miami Dolphins, but he was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, and his entire house is painted teal.
Right,
that's our guy.
Right.
He's not officiated with the Dolphins, though. Yeah.
Not officiated, but
so
a lot of times.
Have you ever had a concussion?
Have I?
Yeah.
I think I did.
Or anyone here?
It was never documented. Have you had one, Lance?
I've had 3.
I've had 3.
They were in succession, worse and worse. So and what I gotta say is, like, even if he thinks he's fine and he's saying his back and his ankles are hurting, dude, that could literally be that could be a symptom. It could be.
It can. I think that was more
just
cover up than
bunch
anything.
of mush and liquid, and
right.
I could see it. Depending on how severe one could get, I could see it taking quite a while to get back into the seat, but I guess so.
So
gotta prepare for it. Don't want to go in thinking he's not going to play.
Right. So when I was in 7th or 8th grade. I forget whichever one it was. I was the St. Andrews, St. Elizabeth, and Seton school Titans, like 5th string running back, just oozing with talent. We only had like 40 kids on the team, and I was last at every depth chart position. But in practice, they had me go out for a swing pass, and I remember catching a swing pass over my right shoulder. And this kid named Cole, and Cole, if you're watching, it's okay. I don't hate you anymore. As soon as I caught the ball, I turned, and there was just a shoulder pad right in my face.
Oh, dang.
It hit me. I hit the ground. My head did the thing where it bounces off and we didn't have turf. We had dirt and grass. It was a high-pitched ringing noise. Everything went black for about 2 seconds. I sat up. I was super dizzy. I got on one knee. I threw up a little bit. I ran over to the sideline. I was trying to sit on one knee, and I was kind of tipping back and forth, and I just kept hearing ringing. And after about 10 minutes, I finally stopped getting dizzy, and they put me back in. And I was like, all right, that was just called getting your bell rung. But
was that worse than Guardian Angels?
No. God, no. So that was probably 4th grade.
That kid must have been 3 times your size.
So again, I've never been top depth chart at anything, but I was a gunner on kick return, and I was second from all the way to the right. I never coached that unit. I know there's a bunch of numbers. I think it's like an L4 or an R4, right side 4th gunner, whatever it was, right? Maybe an R5. And I was just, they kicked the ball and you ran downfield as fast as you could. And the guy who was right over me in the front line, he had to have been like 5'10" to 6 foot in like the 5th or 6th grade. He was a giant. Like I wasn't big.
It was like Herman Munster met Pee Wee Herman.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was a shot.
It
was so big.
It was like when Ray Lewis hit Chad in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, he hit me square in the chest. I landed flat on my back, knocked the wind out of me, and I couldn't breathe. And my lovely supporting father not only was laughing, but was filming it. In the
Hell yeah, dude. We need to get that clip sometime.
That clip doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that exists anymore.
But it hurt so bad. And it's just one of those things where it's like you get the wind knocked out of you. We've all had it where you're winded, and you can't breathe. And you got to there's nothing in you. So you have to breathe out further, collapse your lung all the way. And then I'm just laying there on my back like, I can't breathe. And he's sitting in the stands on the hill just freaking laughing at me as I'm writhing in pain on the ground.
It builds character.
It builds character, yeah.
Yes, it does.
And you want to know what that character did? On the next kickoff, I took the smaller kid and switched spots and watched his ass get railroaded, and then I ran down the field.
Oh, that little kid with glasses. I remember that.
Yeah, he got fucking throttled. And I said, all right, you talk about making a business decision. I changed positions before the play. I said, never mind. I ain't doing this. Here you go, Erwin.
Oh, my God.
All right, let's move along. I'm getting hungry.
I know you want your steak. Long story short, though, we kind of talk about it here. The Dolphins don't run the ball well. Yeah, their defense has given up a significant amount of points. Yeah, but Tua lit up Baltimore. He threw for 450 million yards or whatever. Okay, that's happened to them on a regular basis at this point. I think we can speak to experience.
Actually, Santori, two things Baltimore and Buffalo have in common. Baltimore's defensive backs hurt. Buffalo's 2 top safeties, both not playing, but they're still playing good, like you said, but still.
Greg, not only was Buffalo missing Hyde and Poyer, they were missing 2 interior starting defensive linemen.
Oh,
they were missing a linebacker, their starting nickel corner, and both safeties.
Dang.
What are we doing?
There.
Ooh,
I love that shot.
Is that Houday, baby? Is that Sean?
Hey, baby.
Sean!
That is awesome.
Oh, my God.
That's what I'm talking about.
But,
there you go, Sean. Right in the freaking blowhole.
Yeah.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Right.
Let me ask you guys this, though. 2019, 2020, we were trying to get the first. If we won this game, we would have not had the first pick of the draft. Get Joe Burrow. Were you guys rooting for the Dolphins that game?
Okay, Greg, I'm just going to mute everybody here that's not Dad and I, because this was Dad was really, really struggling with this.
Mhm.
I am, especially when there's something that valuable on the line, that was Joe Burrow. I was screaming at the TV to literally just kneel the ball the entire game. I was willing to face the penalty for tanking, throwing it. I didn't give a flying fuck. I wanted to lose that game more than any game I've ever cared about in my entire life. And I was so torn at the end because they scored like 18 points in the final minute on like 2 onside kicks and 2 2-point. Like they did everything right for a freaking miracle. And it was like, Andy, I'm trying to replace you right now. Fucking stop it. If you wanted to do this hero shit, I could have used it 10 years ago. All right? Now's not the damn time. Dad will tell you. It just I'm going to let him tell you because he knows the way I am and how close I follow the draft. Was it September of that year I started banging the table for Joe Burrow?
I think it was probably 4 games into the college football season.
Oh my God. I was like,
And
this
you just said, Dad, there's this guy named Burrow. You need to pay attention to him because I don't watch a lot of college football. He said, pay attention to this guy. I've never seen anything like this before.
It was just perfect the entire time. And I was like, they're running a pro style system. This is my guy. I mean, and then I was like, he's from Ohio. He knows Fickle. He almost went to Cincinnati. He's good with being here. I don't really care what all the media is saying. He almost fucking picked the University of Cincinnati almost over LSU. You can't tell me he doesn't care about being in Ohio. Okay, so let's stop with that nonsense. He ended up at Ohio State. He's been in Ohio his entire career except for like 18 months that he was at LSU. So I was just screaming for the guy. And I knew it was between like Burrow, Herbert, and Tua at the very end, but I was super sold on Burrow. And I know the tank for Tua thing was going on. I didn't like Tua. I thought he had a pop gun of an arm, and I don't trust left-handed quarterbacks because you got to flip everything, and it's a nightmare. I wasn't sold on Herbert. I'll be 100% honest. I thought he was going to be another typical just tall, gunslinging, Big 12 pack quarterback that just put up a ton of numbers, didn't do shit. I've got that dead wrong. I'll admit when I'm wrong. But I was just screaming for Burrow. And while that entire game was going on, because they were getting their ass handed to them,
Right.
I'm sitting on the couch going, we're going to get Burrow. Like, I'm like so fucking hyped. And everybody else is like, no, Chase Young. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I want a quarterback. I don't really care. I don't care about defensive ends. Give me the quarterback right now. So I'm just so happy. And then it's like, oh my God, there's only 2 minutes left. This is the best.
Right. We're up by 2 touchdowns. Two points. Yeah.
And then here comes Andy fucking Dalton being fucking Superman for the final minute and a half. I am throwing like my jersey. I am screaming, just losing my mind.
Yeah.
Dad's like, I want to win. We need to care about winning. I'm like, you can win this piece of shit game right now. Everyone will forget about it. Or you can go win a couple Super Bowls later. Take your damn pick.
Tori, you took the words right out of my mouth. When Tyler Boyd got hurt, I'm like, stay down, boy. It's like in Rocky, what Mickey told Rocky, stay down, stay down.
I had so much respect for Tyler Boyd for that moment, but I was like, if there is a single time I don't need you to be tough, it's now.
Yeah. And Joe Burrow, remember, he failed 4th down, but there was a pass interference penalty. Like, no, this isn't happening. And Tyler Eifert, there's like all the Dolphins players on Eifert, and he catches.
Tyler Eifert hadn't done anything for 4 fucking years, and he catches that mini Hail Mary out of nowhere.
And Dalton goes out of the pocket on the 2-point conversion. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This is not happening.
And he dives across the goal line.
Tori,
and then he's all fired up like, yeah, screw you guys for getting rid of me. And I'm like, you are fucking over the entire organization, Andy. Stop it.
You took the words right out of my mouth on everything you just said. My dad was calling me about something. Like, Dad, leave me alone right now.
It's like, I am trying to lose for the first time ever.
The good thing was we went to overtime and Zach Taylor got conservative and we lost the game.
Well, no. I said, wait a minute.
Done that before.
Because a tie, that's still a half a loss. We got the first pick at this, but we're good to go here. Tori, you took the words right out of my mouth. Man.
Here's the thing. And I have a flow chart out there for people who have never really looked at the draft and don't understand who to draft. And I care about positional value and everything. The first question on that flow chart, and it's literally just a yes and no flow chart, and you'll have a good draft every single time. It took a long time to develop. The first question is, do you have a franchise quarterback? And if you answer no, you take the quarterback. And then everybody's going, let's take Chase Young. And I was like, read the flow chart. We won't have
fills in around behind it.
Santori, if you were telling me we trade back and wait next year and take Trevor Lawrence, you start out with an offensive line first. Then
no.
Any of you guys. What do you say?
Because here's the deal. You can trade back, get the line. Sure, you can lose again. What if Lawrence turns out to suck? What if he gets hurt? What if he decides he don't want to play football anymore? What if someone trades up with you? What if he's not available? What happens if you trade for a line and then you get a Jacoby Brissett situation and you win 7 fucking games?
Right.
Now you're in purgatory again. You can't. Here's the thing. You always look at roster development 2 years in advance. You don't plan players 2 years in advance. You might plan who to sign or who to cut a year or two in advance, Joe Mixon, but you don't. I don't look at the draft 2 years from now and go, oh, I'm going to draft that guy.
Yeah.
I don't even know who's going to be available the next pick on draft day. And you think I'm going to plan that shit 2 years ahead of time?
Well, no, Santori, Burrow a year ago, nobody knew who he was a year ago.
Yeah, right.
Round pick.
That's the other thing. Yeah, Burrow was like a 5th to 7th round projection.
Yes.
He had a bad arm. It was not accurate. He had bad footwork. He was considered a failure at Ohio State with a couple of injuries. He was an old prospect at 24 years old. He was a grad student. He had already had his master's, and everybody's kind of like, why do we care about this guy? And then, boom, he got in the right situation. He wasn't even on my fucking radar 6 months prior.
Right.
And he took us to a Super Bowl 18 months after that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you can't plan that stuff out.
No.
If you've got an opportunity to take someone that you think is a franchise-changing quarterback, regardless of whatever the hell else is going on, you take the fucking quarterback.
When Burrow got hurt, everybody tells me, I told you they should have drafted an offensive line. I'm like, dude, just shut up. Okay. I'm sorry. Any expert will tell you start out with a quarterback. Correct?
No, a lot of experts won't, but that's my opinion. I listened to that freaking circus for 6 months after we took him. But yeah, no, you take the quarterback for sure. Well, let's move on, wrap this thing up here because we got 2 last things to talk about. Like I said, relax about the Dolphins. Their leading rusher has 79 yards. Their defense has given up a crap ton of points to teams that, quite frankly, aren't that great. Here's the deal with Buffalo. Like you said, Buffalo's entire defense is out, right?
Right.
Did you look at the box score for that game? Because I got some great numbers for you. And Glenn, if you're watching, I'm sorry because I know this is just going to freaking stab and twist. Josh Allen threw for 400 yards in that game. Threw for 2 touchdowns, no picks. They, as a team, ran for 115 yards. Thanks to some sack yardage, they missed the 500-yard mark by this much.
Sheesh.
497. They punted 1 time and had a fumble on their opening drive.
Damn.
They only scored 19 points.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a little skirmish going on.
Look at that guy.
Oh,
Ripping his helmet.
Oh,
Yeah.
isn't there helmet protocol? Like, now you have to throw it on the sideline?
Supposedly that dolphin grabbed his junk and he was like, "Hold up!" and
Oh
ripped
my
his helmet
God.
off. So I'm hearing there's not some great stuff going on there, but the Dolphins gave up a metric ton of yards to this team, and the Bills just couldn't capitalize on the back end of the drives. The Dolphins only scored 21 points on a team that was missing their entire defense. Tyreek Hill had 30 yards last week, and they were missing almost all their secondary. They threw for a ton of yards against Baltimore, which we've done twice. I don't really care. Baltimore can't cover shit.
All right.
And then week 1 was the Patriots, which was a division game, and Tua looked okay. If you take that outlier of the Baltimore game out, which I hate saying taking a stat away from a body of stats, but when you're looking at individual game logs, I think you can do that, especially with an outlier. Tua's other 2 games are 270 a touchdown and 188 in a touchdown. Okay. So they throw the ball at an average rate, and they can't run the ball, and they give up a ton of yards. Why the fuck would that scare me? And we're at home. And we have Joe Burrow.
I'm not as scared as I was 48 hours ago.
No. I'm not worried about.
We showed up a little bit.
Could they still beat us? Absolutely. I never declare guaranteed wins. That's not what I do.
Buddy.
But they are not. You are what your record says you are, but it's been 3 games. And they haven't really played the best teams. They got Buffalo, and I guess I don't know what the hell Buffalo was doing, but half their team was on IR. And there's not a whole lot of volume that says I should be concerned. Now, the last thing, and I know Bengal Dad's got this potted up somewhere, and if he doesn't, he'll find it.
I'll find it.
I was one of the biggest supporters screaming out there for the White Tiger stuff. I wanted the all white. I wanted to be a whiteout. I wanted white towels. I had emailed the Bengals PR. I wanted the white end zones. I wanted the white Bengal B. I wanted everything.
There you go.
And now I can't get tickets. And I got to work. I can't even get to go see it.
Rip, dude.
I'm bitter as hell. It looks so fucking good.
You have to look. Wait, you have to work at 8:30 Thursday night.
I work until 8.
They need to reshoot this right here. I see a little orange.
Well, there's also a little bit dull with the silver. I think that's a little preliminary work here. You can click on it, make it bigger.
I didn't know if they were allowed to do that or not.
They can do whatever the hell they want.
Okay.
And they got they got like 3 weeks before they have another home game. Let it rip. Paint it.
Oh yeah.
No, they have a
probably
home
a good
that week. Santori.
I thought they go to Baltimore.
No, they go to Baltimore. They don't come back till like October 23rd.
Yeah,
what do I know?
They got like a month off.
Okay. They have more movie theater games then.
What's that?
More movie theater games then.
Yeah, maybe if this theater really actually does it on a regular basis, I'll bop in there periodically, especially on road games.
Can you imagine Sunday night
really
football
cool.
at the theater?
Oh, that'd be fucking cool.
They have like good speakers. I saw the pictures, but they have like good
It was-
speakers and stuff too.
Yeah, it was like being in a regular theater. It was actually too loud to start.
Yeah, it was too loud.
Yeah.
Talking
theaters
about like
are.
what's going on in there, like going to other movies. All the guests were like, "What's going on here?" and all that.
Lance, it was free too.
No, I'm surprised.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah,
And they gave you a beer for walking in the front door.
It was so,
No doubt. That's even better.
well, Strawberry
That's
Ice like
pretty
noticed the people sitting at the bar watching the game. He's like telling everybody, there's a football. The game's going on in the theater. Like, yeah, we know, but that was awesome.
But here's the bar. That's all. I saw like how like the seats have like dinner trays attached to them and everything like that.
Yeah.
It looked really cool. I mean, if I lived any closer, I would definitely come hang out. Pretty good haul from you guys.
I would go, but I it was so cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well, boys, I'm going to cut out. I gave myself till 7:30. It's at 7:30.
Go make your steak.
Got to make my steak.
Do you
How's
still like
steak?
deep fry it? I don't agree with the way you do it, but
I'll deep fry it.
you
Put it in the
basically
skillet.
do. Yeah, but you
Sear
fill
it.
the
Yeah, you
skillet with like
sear
an inch. No, he doesn't sear it. He fills the skillet with like a ton of oil
I
and lets
put
it
a little
That's
oil in it.
fine.
You don't put a it was like submerged last
No,
time.
it's not anymore. It's a thin little
See
layer.
anymore. He's done it. He used to freaking
A
deep
minute and a half on each side and put it on the pellet grill and whoo-hoo.
Oh hell yeah!
What rub are you using?
Finish it
now?
out.
Rub with love.
Rub with love. Oh, okay. Jesus.
What it's called. Rub with love.
Nice.
All right. Well, you go make
I'm
your
out.
steak. I'm gonna try and convince Lance to go to one of these things.
All right,
Oh.
See you, boys.
see you, bud.
See ya, man. See ya.
I won't close the screen. I'll just walk away.
Well, we're gonna go off of we'll end the broadcast here, and then if we want to hang out for a minute, we can.
Yeah.
But thank you to everybody for tuning in to Rally Around the 90 tonight. This was our Week 3 review for the Cincinnati Bengals. I know it said it might be a Monday Night Football preview, and I'll give you that real quick. Shit versus shit. Don't watch.
Who cares?
Monday Night Football. Danny Dimes versus Cooper Rush. Yikes.
Bum, bum, bum.
That was brought to you by Brimming Horn Meadery. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate all the love we get. We're starting to get some support, some love from all over the place. Thank you, Bengal Dad, Greg Luther. Thank you, Cincy James, for the bit that you were able to be on, and Lance at hefty duck. Deuces.